Blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget the KIDO Talk Radio app. We'd love for you to be a part of the family by simply adopting us on your phone. Go to the App Store or Google Play and check us out today. Do appreciate that. Don't forget, coming up Friday, promote our school, secure our future. Thanks to Nampa Christian High School for allowing us to be there. If you're just tuning in, talking about this recent decision by Kroger's, by now Albertsons, Walmart saying no to guns, no to open carrying. Is this just the enhancement of gun-free zones? Does it do anything to solve safety issues? Or is it giving gun owners the Heisman? Let's get back to your phone calls, and we start with Dave in Nampa. Dave, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. You know, I want to draw a comparison for folks, and I don't know if this is maybe a little out in left field or not, but imagine that you wanted to wear your cross, you wanted to wear your Christian, you wanted to wear a big cross on the front of your shirt or, around a necklace, and you were told, hey, that really makes a lot of people uncomfortable. You're going to have to conceal that or not wear it in our store. That would be an infringement on your First Amendment. Why would anybody be okay with anybody infringing on our Second Amendment? I'm personally, I agree with what Brian and the retired, federal officer said. Yeah, tactically, it's not sound to walk around open carrying, I think, but it doesn't change the fact that it's absolutely our right to do that. And I guess that's my 2 cents on it. I agree that it's tactically more sound to conceal carry, but it's never made me uncomfortable when somebody open carries. And for all the folks that are migrating here from out of state, hey, welcome to Idaho. This is America. This is Idaho. This is where we, uphold the Constitution and love it. And, we carry guns. So welcome and enjoy. And if you don't like it, go back to where you came from. When I'm going hunting, I'm the guy in camo carrying my pistol. Every single other day of the week, it's concealed carry. When I go to church, and I carry my weapon concealed, and my church is a pretty big church in the area, and they've come out recently and said, hey, we really don't want you bringing firearms in, but just like the other gentleman said, there's no sign posted on the door that says I can, so I do anyways, and because I'm not going to be the guy sitting in the back when somebody comes in thinking, shoot, man, if I only had my gun. So
well, I guess that's how you would define Dave regret, right?
Yeah, I would never. I mean, I couldn't live with myself if I was sitting there in the back of the congregation and somebody came in and started shooting the place up, and I was just sitting there thinking, gosh dang, wow, here I am. I have the ability. I have the training. I've got the wherewithal. I've been a first responder for many years, and it's like I've got the ability to do something about this. Oh, wait, except I left the tool at home because it made somebody uncomfortable, and education is the key to all things. If you're uncomfortable with guns, go get some training, go get some education, and, it'll be amazing how much less uncomfortable you'll be when you see those people walking around open carrying.
Well, great thoughts, Dave. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Kevin. Have a good day.
You too. Appreciate the phone calls. Join the conversation now. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio, KIDOTalkRadio.com. And do want to remind you, coming up, it will be Miller's Mission, where for a week we live outside at the Walmart collecting turkeys just around the corner. And don't forget to help those folks that are so needy and help give them a hand up, not a handout. By the way, I believe somebody just told me this is Suicide Prevention Week in the state of Idaho. We've been giving out this number, and we will continue not only during the Suicide Prevention Month, but every week. It is the Idaho Suicide Prevention Hotline. That number is 208-398-4357. That's 208-498-4357. And when you're taking a look at life and how precious it is, we want to make sure that you're around for quite some time, because we need you to help us with these battles, right? To help us make a difference. And you are so welcome in our family of faith and family and freedom that we want to make sure that you're around. So again, that number, and if you know somebody You know, in America today, we used to stigmatize therapy. In America today, we used to stigmatize a lot of things. And we're a lot more open, we're a lot more honest, and we're a lot better off. So if you know someone, or look, maybe you're like I was, living by myself, away from my friends and family. What did I do? It was the power of prayer. So that number again, 208-398-4357. We'll get back to your phone calls in a minute. Joining us now, the author of Shut Up and Listen, Billion Dollar Buyer, Tillman Fertitta. Mr. Fertitta, thank you for joining us.
Hey, great to talk to you guys. How are things in Idaho? That football team looks pretty good these days.
Well, it does. We love living here. Look, why don't you swing on in? We'd love to have you.
I've been to Boise. Unique little city. I truly enjoyed being there. It was many years ago, but a lot of fun. I've always had a thing about Idaho and being up there all by yourselves, and you're so far away from everything. It's kind of your own world, and hey, it's a place. It's a good place to relax and hide. Well,
look, you're not relaxing and hiding. You're the owner of the Houston Rockets. You've got your new book, Shut Up and Listen. I watch your show every week on CNBC, Billion Dollar Buyer. In fact, my wife, Dorothy, wants to be your floral consultant. You've got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But that's what I need to get up and do every day. But yeah, I was doing Billion Dollar Buyer, and I started out with one restaurant, and HarperCollins came to me and said, we sit there and we watch your show and all these business tips, and why don't you write a book that people can really sit there and you can drill down on it? So that's what I did, and it's great for any young entrepreneur, any person trying to crawl up the corporate ladder, and it just gets back to the basics. The 95-5 rule. Look for the 5% that's wrong, because 95% of everything is right. There are no spare customers. Take the word no out of your vocabulary. Be plappy. If you're having a bad day, you got in a fight with your wife or your husband, and you go to work anyway, and just play happy, even if you're not happy. It's just basic tools that make you a better person to make you be successful in your business life.
What about relationships? We hear so much, Tillman, that it's all about dots and dizzles and daps and dizzles and clicks and clacks, and yet your business is based on hospitality. Your success is based on hospitality. Is that dead today?
Well, it somewhat is. And, it goes back to, we love to say no. And it's just something that I've tried to, through the culture of my company, say, take it out of your damn vocabulary. I don't care if you're checking in one of my hotels or eating in a restaurant, and no matter what you ask for today, somebody says no, and it's just so easy to say yes. I mean, think about it. You're sitting at a hotel, you were on a call that morning, so you want to order breakfast at 11:02 a.m., and they say, "Oh, we don't serve breakfast anymore." And you say, listen, I don't want a Spanish omelet or an eggs Benedict. I would just like a couple of scrambled eggs real quick that you throw in a pan. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We don't serve breakfast anymore. Well, what the hell is the difference of just throwing a couple of eggs in the pan or going and fix me a chicken salad? Okay, and it's just, we don't try to take care of the customer. And I don't care what business you're in, if you're a radio host, taking care of your customers or your sponsors or whatever, or anything. It's all about knowing your numbers, taking care of your customer. There are no spare customers out there, and making everybody feel like I want to do business with you, no matter what business you're in.
Tillman Fertitta joining us. Shut Up and Listen. By the way, you can pre-order now on Amazon, which I did last night. Looking forward to reading it. Any advice you can give? And then I'm going to ask you about your football team, the University of Houston. But first, what do you learn stuff when you do Billion Dollar Buyer?
Absolutely. Anytime that, you meet young entrepreneurs out there and young business owners, you pick up the mistakes that they continue to make. And, God blessed me with a business mind, and so I can analyze anything very quickly. But you still see little things. You see creativity of the millennials today, how creative they're being. And, probably the biggest mistake that I see is that everybody thinks their product is better than anybody else's. And so that's the one thing we have to realize is how competitive it is. You might think you're the radio host, but you know that if you get off your game at all, you can lose listeners, and it's people understanding it's a competitive world out there, and I've got to do something extra to be successful, and that's really what this book talks about is what do I need to do to be a little better to separate myself from everybody else.
Tillman Fertitta joining us, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Finally, how do you think your new coach, you're welcome in every state. I don't know if you're welcome in the state of West Virginia anymore because you took their football coach.
Yeah, when I got Dana Holgerson at University of Houston. For the listeners who don't know, I've been the chairman of the Board of Regents at University of Houston for a long time. And you know, we're like Boise. You know, it would be a great matchup is we ought to do a home and home with Boise State. That would be a great series every year. So, but we're excited about this year. We have Washington State, somebody not far from you guys, and Mike Leach this weekend, and his air raid coming in. So it ought to be fun.
Indeed. Tillman, finally, coming up with enough money to buy the Houston Rockets, what from your book, Shut Up and Listen, helped you do that and to make that big purchase?
Well, you got to always, be willing to step out there and where everybody else was trying to figure out how do you justify, paying this because a team doesn't justify what we pay for them. But while everybody was doing that, I was figuring out how to buy it instead of trying to justify it. And there's never been a sports team sell for less. And that's the one thing about it, that these things are very, very special. And you can buy a football, basketball, baseball team, what are there, 96, in the United States. And they're a very valuable commodity. And sometimes you just got to be the bull. And I talk about that in the book is you got to be the bull in the room and just go out and make it happen.
Tillman, thank you. Good luck with the book. Shut Up and Listen. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
There we have it. Tillman Fertitta joining us, owner of the Houston Rockets. Now, the most eclectic morning show in America continues, or hopefully at least in the Treasure Valley. Mike and Meridian, thank you for your patience on KIDO Talk Radio. If you missed it, if you're just joining us during Tillman, we're talking about the ability to open carry in Idaho. Mike, welcome back.
Good morning. I've had enough coffee. I can intelligently talk to you and everybody else on the airwaves this morning. How's that?
Well, it beats being out in the cold, so at Independence. So welcome, sir.
Well, I've been out in the cold a lot, especially on my job. Getting back to the previous person over there about open carry. Yeah, you got a lot of nut jobs out there that look for places that are weapons-free zones. What is that? Nobody's going to be there to stop them. Until people start waking up to the fact that there is a certain political party that wants to disarm every law-abiding citizen in this country. They just captured 7 more MS-13ers back in, I think it was Maryland, where the hotbed of them is. They had an old man, beat him up, and killed him. This is getting ridiculous with this stuff. So if people are upset of somebody carrying a sidearm, because I heard of one Albertson store, some old lady got ticked off because some detective was walking doing shopping before he went home for his wife and had his gun on. She got all upset about that. Well, that's fine. Everybody, go carry concealed. And even if you're in your church, have something with you, even if it's smaller than what you normally carry, but never be disarmed, period. And as far as the previous gentleman said, you are the best one in this radio area because you have conservative talk. You have people coming in with different ideas and things, and what's going to happen one day if that certain party takes the elections? You're going to be off the air and out of your job. We're going to have to listen to the 1984 book of censorship, your idea, and that's it. That's what's wrong and what's going on.
No, and we've been there before, and that's why it's always good to have several backup careers. Mike, God bless. Have a great day.
I'll see you the next time at Independence. Good morning and goodbye.
All right. Glenn, Liberal Steve, Liberty Linda, you're next with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you, Sean. Don't forget Lars Larson following Sean Hannity weeknight 6 to 9. More of your thoughts concerning, private organizations saying no to your right to open carry. Glenn in Boise, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Glenn.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. Thank you for having this topic on today. I feel that it's a very important topic. It is our Second Amendment rights. We must remember all the men that fought and died throughout history for us to have this right to carry weapons and protect ourselves and those around us. I called both Walmart and Fred Meyer corporate offices yesterday because I feel so strongly about this. I realized that I gave Idaho as an example, actually. I told them that the state fair had open carry this last year. There had been no incidences there. And I also recited Greenleaf, which encourages the residents there to all own weapons, and told them to look at the crime statistics in a town like that where the good people of America are armed and have responsible gun ownership, and therefore prevent bad people from doing bad things to innocent people. I asked them to please reevaluate their policies because of that, and I brought the example of Idaho and the areas where guns were prevalent and the lack of crime there statistically to prove that. And I said, compare that with Chicago, where they have the strongest gun laws in the nation. You know, they're not allowed to sell weapons there, nor ammunition. Just look in a typical weekend at how many people are killed in that city. I believe the last holiday weekend, there were approximately 45 people shot there. You may not hear that on the news, but the numbers are just incredible every weekend where citizens are disarmed. Yesterday, my wife and I were walking down the Greenbelt. I told my wife as we went by the Frank Memorial, I said, just imagine if one of those Holocaust victims had been able to have a weapon, perhaps they could have saved their relatives and friends back in that time. And I think we need to go back and realize that in Nazi Germany, 2 years prior to the tanks rolling down the streets, the citizens were disarmed. And I feel there's good validation for good law-abiding American citizens to carry their weapons. And I pray to God that we never lose that right. And I hope the American public speaks out to these retailers that are making this promotion. Obviously, a very political topic, but the end result is going to be devastating to our country if we move forward to prohibit firearms. And that's my personal opinion on the matter. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak on your program this morning.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Traffic and weather together. Our time is 8:27. Good morning, Dave. And let's go back to the phones. Liberal Steve, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin Miller and America. If you're not carrying a pistol that are adequately trained in, or accurately trained in, you are a fool. As we sit and talk today, which convenience store they're going to rob, which bank they're going to rob, which all the way around. They're thinking about it, they're going to do it. You may be in the line of fire if it comes to that. And if you're not packing, I'm going to take the walk of shame.
Our time is 8:29. You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. 8:34, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Don't forget the KIDO Talk Radio app, available now, and a couple other things going on that we've been discussing this morning. Albertson's decision to say, well, we don't want open carry. By the way, if you're a business, this is something that I'd love to hear your thoughts on. Do you want people open carrying in your business? For me personally, when I see open carry at church, when I see open carry anywhere else, because I've been educated by you, I'm good with that. But do these really corporate folks get it? That's what we're discussing today. Liberty Linda joins us now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. You know, even in my church, they have called for no carry. But Kevin, I know lots of the brethren, I believe, still conceal carry. There's not anyone going to tell them that they cannot protect themselves and those around them. So I still believe that. And I believe Brian made some very good points this morning. Let's go with this scenario, Kevin. Say a man walks into a store and he's thinking, okay, I'm mad at the world and I'm going to shoot a bunch of people in here. Then he sees a bunch of guys or girls with their open carry, and he thinks, oh, no, I'm not going to do it in this store. I may get hurt myself.
See, I think I agree with you. I believe it's a huge deterrent.
Right. And so if you think of it in that light, you'll understand it because that person will leave and go somewhere else. But I believe in concealed carry as well. And, we have a right to it. It's part of our country. And so all of these things, thank you so much. And your callers are wonderful this morning. And but may I say something about Beto?
Okay.
How do these people get elected to office? I'll put that question out there. I believe that Beto, if he orders a sundae, he orders it with lots of nuts on top, if you get my point.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, not to be offensive, I probably would like him if I met him personally, but I don't understand his politics at all.
Well, and that's important. Liberty Linda, thank you. Coming up, Tea Party Bob, Tom in Nampa, Mandy in Boise. More of your phone calls, but first, John Decker joins us live from the White House. That's right, the actual White House, Fox News Radio on KIDO Talk Radio. Mr. Decker, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you doing today, Kevin?
Not bad. The president in North Carolina last night getting ready to rev up the base. Now you have the president also defending his vice president's choice of hotels.
That's right. So the vice president had a European trip, official business, a few weeks ago, was in Ireland, had meetings in Dublin, but then he got on a plane to spend the night 180 miles away from where his meetings took place in Dublin. And he stayed at the president's resort there, his hotel there, in this remote part of Ireland. And obviously, questions have come in as to why it was necessary for the vice president to do that, number one, and the cost, of course, to taxpayers of, getting in Air Force Two, flying for several hours just to sleep or spend the night at this hotel that is owned by President Trump. So he obviously benefits, his company benefits financially by the vice president staying there and all of his team staying there as well. So that is actually being something that's looked into by the House Oversight Committee. They've begun an investigation into that, and they've also begun an investigation looking into Air Force personnel and their increasingly frequent overnight stays at a different Trump resort, this one in Scotland. And so the Air Force has opened an investigation into the matter, as has the House Oversight Committee. So these are things that obviously none of these things are illegal, but they certainly don't look good. And obviously a question about ethics as well. So that's something that both of those entities are now looking into, Kevin.
John Decker joining us, KIDO Talk Radio, Fox News Radio. Finally, the president is in a Twitter war with John Legend?
This began on Sunday. The president's channel surfing, obviously on Sunday, he came across an MSNBC town hall. Yes, the president was actually watching MSNBC, and it featured an appearance from musician John Legend in which they were talking about criminal justice reform. And the president, watching that, was upset to a certain degree that for all this talk about criminal justice reform, no one mentioned in this MSNBC town hall that the president signed into law a criminal justice reform bill supported by both parties. So the president went after John Legend. He called John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen, a filthy-mouthed wife. Ooh. And that, of course, got a response from both John Legend and Chrissy Teigen on Twitter. So a little bit of a Twitter feud happening over the past 48 hours.
Well, I guess John Legend won't be singing at the White House Christmas party if that ever comes back.
No, I don't think that will happen. I don't know if an invitation would be offered, nor do I think he would accept an invitation. So I think they're on the same page there, Kevin.
John Decker, appreciate you as always, sir.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon.
Yes, sir. Bye, John. There we have it. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Tom in Nampa on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Kevin. How you all doing today?
Thank you for your patience, brother.
No big. You know, this whole thing about open carry, concealed carry, one, liberal Steve needs to get back on his meds right quick. Two, it doesn't really make that big a deal in Idaho because with a constitutional carry, you can carry concealed with no paperwork involved. So I'm like, guys we're open carrying. It's easier in the summer to open carry because of the clothing and stuff. Well, it ain't summer no more. It's 50 degrees when I got up this morning. So concealed carry in Idaho is not going to be a problem. The stores, I mean, they're just pandering to a bunch of eastern coastal elitists. So I'm like, I really thought you guys had more spine. I really did. Question. Do you know if the stores are putting up little signs that says, please don't open carry here or not?
I assume they will be.
Yeah, like hand them a little card that says, okay, you now have people you don't know are armed or not. This is not really what you were looking for, is it, fellas? Because it's such a it's a pointless gesture because the bad guys are going to do it anyway. It's legal for the good guys to do it in Idaho. So what the hey? What are you accomplishing? Anything? Or are you just, calming the nerves of a bunch of Californios who just moved up here?
I would agree with the latter, Tom.
Yeah. Check out every state crime stats where they have gone to open carry or constitutional carry or both. They've all gone down. Vermont had what we now call constitutional carry, meaning carry a concealed weapon without any carry permits or any paperwork for decades. Vermont, the land of, Comrade Bernie Sanders, you could carry up there concealed with no permits for at least 40 years that I know of. I don't know how long after that.
No, you're right about that, Tom. Tom, thank you for the call. Let's go to Mandy in Boise with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Mandy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Thanks for your patience. What can we do for you?
Yeah, sure. No problem. I think mine is more of like a question on this open carry as far as really what's the point of trying to pass that in their own stores? Because the way that I'm looking at it is that it's not the bad guys that are just going to be walking around in their everyday life with an open carry gun. It seems like they tend to be a little bit more methodical on what they're doing. They form a plan, and then they go out and shoot the places up. Whereas like most law-abiding citizens that are with an open carry or concealed carry, that's not their objective throughout the day. Their objective is for self-protection, and there's people that have talked about being in a shooting where they didn't have their gun and they totally regretted that. So I'm just wondering, what is their objective? How do they think this is going to solve any sort of mass shooting problem?
Oh, just like a gun-free zone, the criminals and the bad people are going to say, I don't have to bring my weapon here, so it's safe.
Yeah, that just sounds ridiculous. It sounds like it's just opening the door for them to be like, hey, this is a great place to go.
Mandy, appreciate you listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you.
Thank you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to the publisher of the Gem State Patriot, Tea Party Bob. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
Sad news, but we drive on, brother.
Yes, indeed. I know what you're talking about. And just a few comments here. Self-defense can be an important crime deterrent. And this comment came from a report by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, after a $10 million study that was commissioned by President Barack Obama. Studies that directly assessed the effect of actual defensive uses of guns, incidents in which a gun was used by a crime victim in the sense of an attacking or threatening offender, have found consistently lower injury rates among gun-using crime victims compared with victims who use other self-protective strategies. The CDC found that guns are an effective and often used crime deterrent, and that most firearm incidents are not fatal, and it is estimated that there are from 500,000 to 3 million circumstances of these confrontations each and every year. Now, for many years, up until Obama, it had been cited that, in states that were having open carry, that they had less crime. In 2015, Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida presented a study like this, comparing 42 states with open carry to 8 states without it. The results he presented were from 2012, showing that the violent crime rate for those states with open carry laws were 23% lower. Now, there's always going to be those in opposition to open carry. And regardless of what happens, nobody's going to be able to prove one way or the other because of how they swing the statistics back and forth. But in the past 10 years, the media has been drumming their anti-gun propaganda into the public every chance they get. And these stores are more afraid of the media than losing money from less sales. We've been inundated with anti-gun policy since Obama. It is a political football and a talking point for the liberals, which means that the press will be out to disprove any study that shows benefits for open carry. All I will say is that it is your right as a citizen given to you by the Second Amendment to be able to protect yourself by carrying a firearm. And as far as I'm concerned, any establishment that says I can't carry a gun into their store, open or concealed, is on my do not shop list. And if these stores see their sales going down, they will either not enforce their rules or they will ignore anyone who does open carry. And as you know, I open carry, and I will say that I have never had anyone in any single store say a word about me exercising my Second Amendment rights.
Oh, I wouldn't mess with you.
And I'm going to continue to do that.
Well, I wouldn't mess with you. So, Tea Party Bob, appreciate the points. GemStatePatriot.com. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
All right, coming up next, the solution. And if you're pro-Second Amendment, is there any place to shop for food, for items that's Second Amendment friendly in the Treasure Valley? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Rolling on the right side, Dave Ramsey follows Glenn Beck. More of your calls in a minute. First, Ron Grant joining us. Talk about keeping your money safe. Ron, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Really good, and certainly with the fluctuations in the markets, keeping your money to yourself, making sure you have walk-around money to live on is important now more than ever, sir.
It is. And, Saturday, Kevin, we're going to be talking about why safety is so important for today's retirement. So make sure everybody gets a pen and a paper and tune in on Saturday from 2 to 3. Back in 08 and 09 when the market tanked almost 50%, my clients and we got a zero. And a zero is always better than a loss. I make sure that my clients participate in some of the upside of Wall Street, remember the down, and we want to make sure that we get a guaranteed lifetime income. If you're over 50, you should stop chasing returns and worry about that income. Top 1% of our nation gets income from multiple sources. Why wouldn't you?
Well, and that is important now more than ever, and whether it's this Saturday from 2 to 3 or right now, you'd like to hear from people.
Sure. They can either go to my website, that's safermoneyspecialist.com. Got some great third-party educational information there. They can download my free book, 10 Things to Know About Retirement Income, or they can call me, 660-1372. I got a car show for you, Kevin, on this Saturday. Going to be at the Parkview Christian Church and Car Show Fundraiser in Meridian. If anybody would like to go, it's 208-343-5461. Go out and participate, help the church out, and enjoy some nice iron.
Well, enjoy the iron, and, of course, a big event that we're going to get behind coming up, helping our seniors. Ron Grant, one more time, your phone number?
It's 208-660-1372.
We will catch you live this Saturday from 2 to 3. Thank you, Ron.
All right, have a good day.
Have a great day. Our great friend Ron Grant, Traffic and Weather Together. Let's get you to work safely and on time. KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave. And thank you, Larry. Max in Garden City, thank you for your patience. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
This whole concealed carry thing, I carry concealed everywhere. But I can see why. I don't agree, but I can see why stores are saying, please don't sling your AR-15 over your shoulder while you're shopping. Yeah, we have a right to it, every right in the world. But we have more and more whiny little snowflakes, not just the Californians, but Idahoans, who are being brainwashed by the media. They see a gun in the open and they go totally freak. As long as those people exist, that may be one of the reasons why Albertson says, please don't carry it in the open. They don't want people freaking. Panic is like a disease. It's like a wave. One person cries, ah! Before you know it, half the store's crying, ah! It's a part of the times we live in. To not carry a weapon at all on their premises is offensive to me, and I'll conceal anyway. They can put a sign on the door. Don't come in my church with a gun. Well, it's in my pocket, and I'm just not going to announce it. Am I wrong here?
No.
If we didn't have so many weenies out there, we could carry them in the open. I'd like to put a 44 on my hip. Nice quality gun leather, good-looking gun, and just walk around with it. But I know that I'd have cops stopping me every 20 minutes asking why. Kevin, keep up the good work. Listen to my MP3s. And someday call me, and we'll do that lunch I was promised.
We will. You have my word on that, brother. Back to your phone calls. Quickly to Kim in Eagle. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning. This is the first time I've ever called into a radio station. I'm a 64-year-old vet. And I think that the deal with Walmart is they're just blame shuffling. They've got all these people that stand at their door, and they're disabled and everything else. Somebody pulls into your front of your store, shoots up all your employees and your people, and they had nobody there. They had no security there. And so I think it's a blame shuffle.
What do you make of Kroger's and others following suit?
Well, that's just the internet and everybody putting all the pressure on. When we knew when this shooting happened that the libs were ready to jump on our gun rights again. So I believe that it's a game shuffle. They should have security there in their store.
Well,
should they not?
You're right. Kim, by the way, thank you for your service. Why don't you call us again?
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Sherlock in Nampa with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Sherlock.
Well, good morning, Kevin. All of your previous callers are quite correct within regard to the constitutional right to carry, etc. The problem is that whereas it's like we discussed a couple of days ago, maybe it's 3, in which the difference between judicial and legal justice, lawful conduct can be and is deemed illegal in certain jurisdictions. What that means is that all these various private corporations that have said do not carry, if you were to carry into it and assert your constitutional rights to carry within that particular corporate store, they will call the police. The police will give you a citation, a summons to come to the court for trespass. Does that make sense to you?
It does, Sherlock. God bless. And by the way, let's go to Pro-Life, who's going to bring us home right before Glenn Beck. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, this gun subject is the one subject that will split America. The Americans are selfish, and they won't split America on the preborn baby murder thing, but they will over these gun issues. And if the federal government, if the Democrats ever take over and start taking guns away, you will see serious rebellion from the states, and this issue will be the big splitting issue.
Well,
anyway,
God bless you, Pro-Life.
All right, we'll see you.
We're here to unite, not divide. God bless you. Glenn Beck is next. Stay tuned.